Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.
And good morning, ladies
Sunshine's
and gentlemen.
Corner.
And, well, there we go. It threw me off there. Quentin Richie Studer, good morning to you. Sunshine's in with you on this beautiful, cloudy Thursday morning. But I tell you, when it's cloudy on the outside, there's no need to fret. You've got all the sunshine you'll ever need right here at Sunshine's Corner. And today we are going to be talking with, I tell you, Mr. Robert Bender, Supervisor of Election, because this is the year of the primaries. And some changes are happening. Because, I mean, when I heard about that, I was like, oh, really? A good friend of mine, Jeff, you know Jeff Knoll, yep. He sent me an email, said, Sunshine, we need to talk about this and all of that. But it is so amazing. I think this is perfect timing, because when I reached out to you the first time, it was the first of the year, yeah. And I said this was perfect. It's more beyond all that celebrating we was doing now. Mardi Gras is over. Now they can think. Thank you for getting up early, coming in with me, Robert.
Oh, happy to. Good to see you.
Yes, good to see you.
Back.
Yeah, we're back. Listen, I go back and look at us in our green.
No. It was St. Patty's Day last year.
Do you know I still wear my hat.
I've got my hat, and I guess I was lucky I didn't come on Tuesday, and I have my Mardi Gras suspenders or something.
Right? Exactly. But you know, we've got so much to talk about because of this is the primary year, the election year, and some things that we need to share with our viewers that just in case. And like, I'm going to say, look, I got to learn my new driver's license number when I change it.
Right.
Let's talk about the things we need to know about.
Sure. So one, we want to make sure everyone's election ready, right?
Exactly.
That's what we want to get to, and we're working towards that. And one of the things that you brought up is the change in a driver's license. So if you've gone and gotten a new driver's license in the last 6-8 months, you noticed that your number changed, right? We'd all memorized that number. The problem was other people knew how to get that number too, right? Because it was an algorithm based on your name, based on the year you were born. And so people were figuring out other people's driver's licenses. And so now that there's a random number incorporated into that, they won't be able to guess your driver's licenses. But where that comes in, now one, I want to be clear, it will not prevent you from voting.
Right.
Okay. Let's just go ahead and say that, right? So when you come to the location, the early vote or the precinct, you give them that photo ID, which most likely is your driver's license. Doesn't have to be, but most people, that's just what they use because it has your signature on it as well, which is needed. And so we look at the photo, we check that it's you, check the name, and then as you sign the pad, we verify the signature. Okay. So we're not comparing the driver's license number to what's in the system. We don't give that to all of our election workers and things like that, right? That's a lot of information. And so now that's not there, but now we need to be able to update our systems because again, when you go get that new driver's license, you may not know that you're getting a new number or something like that. And so what we do is we use that to identify you, to verify your identity when you call into the office. Okay. Or you make a vote by mail request. Right. So that's why we want to update it so that we have a way to go into the driver's license system and get that driver's license to verify it but again, we just want to have that information so that if you do call that, so one I'll say is that the supervisors of election of Florida are working with the state legislator right now. There's a bill that it would require Department of Highway Safety Motor Vehicles, who oversees the driver's license, called DHSMV, to send us the new information, the new driver's licenses each week, whether or not the individual updated their voter registration. Oh, really? So then that way we can update our files, and if they call in, we'll have the new driver's license number. Because again, your address probably didn't change. That's right. You know, you don't want to update your party affiliation or something like that. So you didn't feel there was any need to update your voter registration. So, but again, and we'll get to this in a little bit. You know, that's one of those unique identifiers along with the your last four social that we use when you make that vote by mail request or something like that. So again, it's just updating our system, but again, we're working on some fixes, and I'll say Scott Lunsford is doing a great job. I know a lot of his people are encouraging people to update their voter registration. Also, it never hurts to give us an updated signature. So if you're voting by mail, for us to have another authentic signature that we can validate your signature that we're trying to verify a ballot against, to have additional signatures, that helps us because we may.
I think that's amazing. I didn't know your signature changes.
It does, but here's the thing: even though your so we take a class every election cycle, we have to take it again, and we learn the characteristics of a signature.
Really?
Right. So even as you say may age, and your hand is not as steady.
Mature.
As steady as it once was. Not at this table.
Let's let that out.
Your hand may not be as steady as it once was. There are still characteristics in how you sign your name that we can verify that it's you, and that has to do with angles and where you start and stop and things like that.
You're taking me back because I can remember because my father was really of age, and he would sign his name. It was always slow then. It was really slow. I get what you say, but like with me,
right. So now, when you do the Walmart signature is what we call it, where you just do the line
across.
Walmart. The Walmart signature, where you're doing the credit card, and you just sort of kind of put the squiggly line. That I can't help you on, right? Because that's probably not going to match what you have on file with a, So again, if you're at home and you're like, okay, I want to make sure it's the signature that's on file,
right?
Maybe go look at your driver's license because that's where we get a lot of those from. When you update your driver's license or you get your driver's license, we get that record, we get an image of the signature. And so, but again, as we change, it's always important to update your signatures as well.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, now we're talking about the driver's license. Now, for people who have the ID, is that going to change too? Without they have that Florida ID. What's going to happen with that?
So I am not as familiar as how that number is generated.
Okay, I got you.
And so it may have been the same way.
Okay.
Right? It's just not a driver's license. It's a Florida identification card. So so yes, because we accept either one.
Okay.
And so yes, that number.
Because I know a lot of elderly people have that. The people that don't drive, they'll have that thing with them.
Sure.
And now, what about the star? I heard about the star.
So the star is the real compliant, and again, doesn't necessarily have any impact on us. It may, depending on how some of these bills come out, because you're essentially verifying your identity. You're having to give your birth certificate, your passport, something like that, and so there may, again, part of this law also stipulates that when you give that to the DMV, it is also indicated which form of identification you used to verify that you were maybe a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
Right? Because we want to make sure only U.S. citizens
you got
vote.
That right.
And so the DMV, the tax collector's office, when you get your driver's license, would be able to indicate what form of identification you used to prove your citizenship, and then that would then show up on your record. Not the document itself, but just that you presented a passport, or something like that.
I got you. I want to tell everybody something. Listen now, when you get that, if you've gotten a divorce, make sure you have those papers. That's for that.
It is. It can be a process.
Hold on to those papers.
And I know that with the SAVE Act and things that are out there right now, it is challenging for people. A lady was telling a story about how it was in Kansas, and she didn't know when the husband had filed the paperwork for the divorce, and on and on. But if you are registered, I don't think it's going to have any impact on that. We have the state has run our database through the SAVE database to see if who was citizen, non-citizen, things like that. And we did have some, right?
Really? That was my next question.
So, but again, out of 200,000. A very small number.
Okay.
Some of them are office errors where the person never checked the box, and they have thousands of applications to get through right before an election. So a little bitty thing like that can throw it off. It can, yeah. Just by a check. Well, or they didn't check it, but we had indicated in the office that they had. I mean, again, we're human. Absolutely. But those people hadn't voted either. But I mean, we have stories that. I think a lot of the non-citizens that are registered have to do with not understanding their status, right? So some of them are permanent residents, not realizing that didn't mean that they were U.S. citizens, things like that. Okay. So I learned something right then. Right. There was again somewhere else in the state was that she didn't think that she was eligible to vote, but then the supervisor's office sent updated their voter registration card, so she got a voter registration card in the mail, and it meant she thought she was able to vote then. And she wasn't.
Wow.
So again, not to say that it doesn't exist, but it is on a much smaller scale.
I understand.
Because again, what I say is that Save database is a tool in our toolbox, just like what we have access to everything else to verify someone's eligibility.
Exactly.
Right? And so, what we get from the state, we get the death certificates, right? So the vital statistics will send us a list of deceased persons, so we remove them from the list along with Social Security Administration will also send it to us if, because they may pass away out of state or something like that. If you return your driver's license in another state, we are now getting information from the state in the last 2 years so that we can go through. Listen, it may not mean that you need to be removed. It gives us an opportunity to contact you and say, hey, do you need to update your...
Let you know what you need to do.
Correct. Because it may be a military person that has to update their driver's license. They can't get back to Florida, and so they've had to update it in another state. Doesn't mean that they're not eligible to vote in Florida anymore, right? So I don't want to
say that again. That they're from another state, what?
Well, military, right? So if they've established residency here and then they get sent on orders or something like that, they can still say, hey, I want Florida to be my permanent residency.
Okay.
But maybe something happens where they have to update their driver's license or something like that. It doesn't mean that they've lost their...
So if I wanted to move, if I were military and I went to Alabama, but I wanted to vote in Florida.
So what it is that, so one, you've established your residency here.
Right.
And that you still have an intent to return.
Oh, I got you.
Now, doesn't mean you get to go to Alabama
and
vote
also.
Too. Right.
That was the next one.
And so that's what we see, especially with a lot of military that we have.
Right, military town.
Right, so as they start, and part of that might have to do with Florida's income tax, not having any.
Right.
So a lot of them will keep their residency in Florida.
Okay. Listen, now, let's remind everybody when, I'm sure this now, we're getting ready for primary election. Some people don't know when it is.
Oh, sure. That's fine. That's fine. So we have, the primary election is August 18th. And again, so you have to remember about Florida, closed primaries. So you can only vote in the primary for which you're registered. And so the deadline to either register or change your party affiliation is going to be July 20th. Okay, that's
a couple months away.
That's a couple months away. It'll be here before we know it.
Exactly.
We'll actually have ballots going out July 4th for those military overseas voters.
Okay.
Those will already be out. But 29 days before the election is when we set our rolls, voter rolls. So we don't accept any new applications after that.
Can you pop that back up for me one more time, sweetheart? Okay.
Yep.
Now, the primary election, of course, we know that's August 18th.
Yes.
But the deadline to register here in Escambia.
In all of Florida.
All Florida is July the 20th.
Yes.
And now the deadline to request a mail-in ballot is August the 6th.
Yes.
So you still got to, okay.
So, and again, and we'll get to the mail-in ballot request in a second, but again, that deadline to register, that way we set our rolls. Florida, you can't go register the same day as the election like you can in some other states.
Okay.
Right? And so, so that gets some people. Again, we do have some circumstances for military that are on orders or something like that come in after that. But yeah, that deadline is important. Again, if you want to change your party affiliation or if you need to register.
So what's the deadline for that?
That's that July 20th.
Okay, so if I wanted to change it to something else.
Something else. Now, if you're registered and you move, we can still update your driver's license because we want to make sure that you vote at the right place, right?
Right.
So we can. You're already registered. You can't change your party affiliation. We just wouldn't, or you could, but we just wouldn't process it till after that election.
So would your vote count?
Your vote would count.
Okay.
Yeah, because again, you're registered. You would just have to vote for the party in which you're already registered.
I got you.
Now, for the general that's coming up on November 3rd, there's another date that'll come up. So that's October 5th will be the deadline to register. Party affiliation doesn't matter in the general because everybody gets the same ballot.
Exactly.
Right, and so there it's still deadline to register, but then again the deadline to request a mail-in ballot is October 22nd. So
I can't believe these dates are here already.
They're going to be here before we know it. We have some projects that we're still working on, and you think, man, I'm going to have ballots out in 4 months.
My God.
And I have about 2 months to finish these projects to get things done. So
exactly.
I'm really excited about some of the things that we're working on within the office. Some of it, some people will see. Some of it they won't notice, but it'll be better in the office. But we've talked about mail-in ballot. I don't know how much time we have before
keep
our
talking.
break.
I'll tell you when, because they'll tell me in my ear. Cut him, Sunshine. Time to go.
So remember when we were on here last year, we had the special election, and in Florida, that vote by mail, that request is wiped clean after every general election, right? So this is part of our election security that we're doing, that we're not just sending you a ballot 4 years after you've moved or something like that.
Most certainly.
So after every general election, we wipe it clean. So we actually have, because we had that special congressional election last year, a lot of people have already renewed their vote by mail. So we sent out about 43,000 vote by mail in the general election in 24, and I think we have between about 15 and 20 that had already renewed by the time that special election came around in April. So a lot of people already have. Maybe you don't know that if you have or haven't.
Exactly.
Feel free to call the office and check. You can also go online. If you go online to our website, escambiavotes.gov, and you can click a link that says, "Am I registered?" That you can check your information there. You can check your party affiliation, where the address is, where your precinct is. If you have a vote by mail request on file, you can do that.
Now I see right there you got a QR code.
Yes.
And you can do that to get your vote by mail?
Yes. Well, that just takes you to the website.
I mean, takes you to the website.
That takes you
I'm
to
just
our website.
reading fast and asking.
Yep. No, that's fine. So, and again, the vote by mail on our website, it gives you some information on how to do it. We have a form. Again, you can call the office. We'll ask for that driver's license number or the last 4 of your social for you to verify the information. But here, let me also tell you this. We will be shortly sending a notice to people that voted by mail in the last election that have not renewed that request. Okay, so we'll send you a request and say, we notice you have not renewed your vote by mail request. Here's what you need to do if you want to do that. And then we'll also send out county-wide 3 ways to vote, right? So we have our 3 ways to vote. And then that way we'll say, okay, hey, listen, you can request a vote by mail ballot. Here's how you do it. You can go to early vote, which is for the primary 8 days. And then for the general election, we'll do it for 13 days. And we have 10 sites around the county. You can go to any one of the 10.
That's what I like to choose.
And then election day,
you got to go to
you have to go to your precinct.
Your
And so, and again, so we'll send that to probably every household that in the county for people that don't already have a vote by mail request on file.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting some valuable information. I want to thank Mr. Robert Bender, who is the supervisor of election. He's got it just rolling that, you know. But look, we got more to talk about. Now, I invite you to be a part of the conversation, because maybe there's something that I won't bring up, or maybe it's something we'll miss, but that's how you find out, by asking. 850-432-7768. We'll be back with more right here on Sunshine's Corner.
Good day, Pensacola. Welcome to a new segment on health and wellness sponsored by Baptist Healthcare in partnership with Sunshine's Corner. Every first Wednesday of the month during Sunshine's telecast, we're going to be bringing you information about health and wellness and ways to make sure we're improving the quality of your health care here in Pensacola. After all, we want to ensure that you're going to the right place at the right time and for the right reason, and that you don't feel alone. Can't wait to see you.
At FPL, we plan for storm season all year long. We're strengthening poles to better withstand severe weather. We're clearing lines to improve resiliency, and we're constantly training teams to act at a moment's notice. Because we're always working, always preparing. So when storms do hit, you can count on us. FPL, working for you every single day.
Get a fresh cut and a fresh start at AHW Barber Academy. We focus on growth. Join us at 3822 North 9th Avenue, Pensacola, for a top-notch $6 haircut while supporting aspiring barbers. Our students learn in a real-world setting, guided by experienced professionals to become licensed barbers. Need a cut or a new career? Visit AHW Barber Academy or call 850-692-9298.
I'm Emily Echeverria, Marketing Communications Director for Council on Aging of West Florida and the host of Coming of Age. Watch our show to find out what we're doing for our seniors and their families, and hear from area experts and local business owners about their programs and services. Want to help? Find out how you can work with us to bring a better future to our seniors. Watch Coming of Age, 3:30 p.m. Wednesdays, only on Blab TV.
And welcome back to a conversation that is so needed. We are talking with our Supervisor of Election, Mr. Robert Bender. We're talking about the primary election. We're talking about the general election. We're talking about the driver's license. We're talking about everything that you need to know to be prepared. Because this year, even what I'm saying, I mean, even with the gubernatorial, even with the locals, I mean, we've got so many running for mayor. I mean, I'm just going to be real.
Yeah.
I've never seen that many. I think it's 5.
I think it's 5 right now. We did have we had 6, I think, when in 2018 run. But so let's figure out how people can get informed.
Let's find out. Yeah, because like me on some things you don't know.
So again, I want to take you to our website.
Okay.
And I will also say this: one of the projects we're working on is updating our website to make it easier for you to find information.
Right.
And so, but if you go. There's a drop down on the side, and if you go to candidates,
Okay.
I go towards the bottom where it says candidate current finances
Okay.
and biographies, and what that does is it lets you see who's running for the local offices right now.
Right.
There's also a link to go take you to the state site,
right,
to where you can see what candidates are running for state, because Alex Andrade is termed out, so we'll have a new House District 2 member. You do have House District 1 is on the rake, so that's every 2 years. So
right.
Michelle Salzman's current seat will be up. You have your governor and the cabinet. So you CFO, Commissioner of Agriculture will be up, and then your local races, right?
Yeah.
And so also if you go to voters and the drop-down menu, we have the Escambia County Voter Guide. Which again gives you a lot of information like what we've talked about. It'll show you what races are up. So for instance, in the county commission, we have districts 2 and 4. ECUA is also 2 and 4. School board is 1, 2, and 3. You have Santa Rosa Island Authority. You have judges.
Oh my goodness, it's gonna be a year.
We have a lot. And then we may see some amendments on the ballot or initiatives. I know one that the school board's talked about is going back to an elected superintendent, and
we need to have a little education on that with the amendment so people will understand. You know what I'm saying?
So I don't know what they are yet.
I know the feeling, but we'll do that later.
We can do that. And again, so currently the county commission is I don't say deadlocked with the school board. But there's some discussion on if they put it on the primary or on the general.
Really?
And so they're looking at that. The school board has asked for it to be on the primary, and then the general I think is where the county commission is trying to push it. So, but let's talk turnout. We were talking about that during the break. So one, I want to thank everybody who came out and voted in November of 2024. We had about 215,000 registered voters. And we had 76% turnout.
That's pretty good.
It's okay. It's not our high, and a lot of places around the state beat us in terms of percent turnout. But it's still higher than what we're in the low 70s.
Okay.
It's low to mid 70s. So now we come into a gubernatorial cycle, and not as many people typically vote in that because you're not voting for the president. Now, why? Really? I don't know.
Why?
Because think about it. I just listed all these local races. You said the mayor's on there. You have city council 2, 4, and 6 are on there. These are the people that are making the decisions for your everyday life. Right?
Exactly,
these are the people that are impacting the community. And so voting on those is just as important as voting for president.
I think so, too.
And so historically, we'll be in the mid-50s in turnout. Now, in the last open gubernatorial cycle in 2018, we did have 61% turnout. And so I'm hoping that we are closer to that 61.
So is that good?
It's okay, right?
That's okay.
It's better than what we typically do.
Okay.
But 61%, it's not 76 though.
Exactly.
And so we want people to get out and vote.
So what is it that you find out, with me, and I try to tell this, so I sing it till I'm blue in the face, and that's a lot of singing. If you want to be a part, if you want to help make the decisions, that's how you do it.
Correct. We need to talk primary, but I don't want to talk primary.
I got you.
And the reason being is because the primary is a fraction of that.
Of course.
So we are typically in the mid-30s I think in 2022 we were closer to 30%. In 2024 primary we were at 25%.
Really?
And now part of that is that, say, the Democrats didn't have a lot on the ballot.
Right.
There just wasn't a lot for them to vote. They didn't have a presidential and the presidential preference.
Right.
But then you didn't have congressional. There just weren't a lot of races on their ballot.
Right.
So that's not going to push them to vote.
Okay.
So I think that drove it down a little bit.
Okay.
And if there's just not a lot to vote on, people don't do it. But again, that's just as important as the general, because you're electing who's going to represent your party.
Thank you.
In that general election.
Exactly.
And again, and especially in Escambia County, a lot of people say the primaries is where the races are won and lost, because
I've been hearing a lot about the primaries.
Because we have such a discrepancy in
Exactly.
some of things. Now with mayor, let's talk about that, right?
Please.
Mayor 2022, it's a nonpartisan race.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone who's a registered city resident is eligible to vote in that. As we said, we had 6 people running, I think it was.
That's a lot.
And D.C. Reeves won in the primary because he got more than 50% of the vote. And so it never made it to the general, right? Because if you're in a nonpartisan race like a school board, and we had this happen in 2024 with District 5, there were 3 candidates running for office. One got over 50% in the primary.
Okay.
So they are elected. They don't go to the general to face off. The election's over, and you haven't even decided who's going to represent you because you skipped that.
That's right.
You didn't go vote, and so we want you to get out and vote in the primary.
Exactly.
I would love to have 40%, 50% turnout in the primary.
I mean, it's amazing when you say that, because if we've got 5 or 6 running, isn't that going to split some things?
It can split some things, but again,
if you don't get out, it's still going to lean to.
Not necessarily. Again, it's a primary, and so if it's a partisan race, it just means that you don't get a say on who ultimately you're voting for in November. If it's the nonpartisan, again, you may end up you may not end up with the candidate you wanted to win because you didn't go out and support them.
Exactly.
And so that's what I say. Go out and support your candidates. If you learn about your candidates, right? I mean,
isn't it public record? You can go on and see even what they're raising, the funds that they're raising.
You can. That's on that website. What I sent you to on our website with candidates. It'll have the candidate finances and biographies, and that's put up by the candidate. Their biographies and little information about them, but you can see what money they've raised. Now, if it's a multi-county or state race, that's on the state site. But the same thing, you can go see who's giving them money and things like that.
Wow.
Maybe how they've been spending their money, right?
Is that there too?
Right. So who's giving you money is important, but maybe again how you spend it is just as important, because these are the people that are going to be in charge of your budget. So.
Exactly. I ask the question all the time: How would you handle the budget? What's your budget going to look like? But these are things I think that we need to know, and I want to encourage everybody. We're doing this because Robert's going to get sick of me before this year is over.
Listen. So one, we want your viewers to be election ready.
Exactly.
Right, and know that their voice is their vote.
That's right. It matters.
And it matters, and so. My job is to get them informed, get them to vote,
right,
and make sure that their vote's counted.
Most certainly. And that's why we do the show. You see, that's why it is a show that's so diverse that we cover everything. And when we do this, we want you to be ready. That you won't say, well, I didn't know this. No, because we touch every single thing that needs to be touched, and we go over it again and again and again. Even down to the fact now about the number on your license going to change. Even down to the fact what that star means. I thought that I was a good driver.
You're in your gold star.
I mean, but I'm saying we do this. We take the time to go out to gather this information so that you will know what to do. Don't always think that you got everything together. It takes a few seconds just to check.
Yep.
595-3900. You can call.
Yes, ma'am.
I got that number. See, I'm working over there with you. I mean, but you can go to the website and find out anything. And I want to encourage. I don't know why I keep going through my thought process. Sometimes when you have grandma or grandpa, make sure, go there, the ones who are taking care of them,
yep,
and check to make sure everything is in order.
And that's the thing, for a vote by mail or something like that, you can make that request for them. Again, you'd still need to give their unique identifier, and we're going to ask you for yours as well, because we're going to record who made that request.
Exactly.
But here's the thing, they still need to sign it.
Most certainly.
All right, you can't sign it for them. A power of attorney doesn't give you the option to sign their ballot for them. We still need them to sign their ballot for them. And again, if there's an issue, we can come to the polls. We have something called an express vote at the early voting locations and at every precinct, which people with disabilities, again, if you're blind, you can come in and put on headphones, where you can work the system yourself, where you don't have to have assistance. We can provide assistance if you need it. If you need help.
You said if you're blind, you put something.
We have headphones, and it'll read the ballot to them, and they can make choices on the keypad and things like that. Or if you just need a bigger font, you can go and make the font bigger. And so what it is.
What about people with disabilities? People who can't walk and need these things to get in and.
Yep. And so again, it's one of those things where you can come up to the table and it's a touch screen. And so you can make your selection. So what happens is that when you come to the precinct, or early vote, you get up to 3 ballots. And so maybe you make a mistake on the first one, you turn it in, they give you another one, you make another mistake. What the election workers will probably do, and we'll get to election workers after the next break, because one, we're looking for election workers, but we couldn't run an election without them, right? We have 600 that come in Escambia County and work the elections, and so they are the backbone of the election. But they're your friends, your neighbors, your church members that are doing this. So. And so they'll say, hey, why don't you go use this express vote? Because if you make a mistake, all you have to do is uncheck it and hit the other one, and it'll let you verify that these are the people that you want to vote for, and then you hit print. And then here's the great thing about this, is that it prints who you voted for. That's your ballot. It's not a receipt. It's an actual, it's a little bit different piece of paper.
Right.
But it prints each race and who you voted for. And then you put that into the tabulator. As you would a regular paper ballot.
Right.
And so, and I know there's been a lot of talk about these types of machines because they do have a barcode on it, but I think a lot of what you're hearing doesn't necessarily apply to Florida, right?
Really?
A lot of what people hear about vote by mail doesn't necessarily apply to Florida because, as I said, we're checking your identification on the front end with that unique identifier, and then we're checking your signature on the back end with validating the signature. Same with this, is that it doesn't do it and then tabulate it. You still get to hold that piece of paper. You can still verify who it voted for, and then you get to go put it in the tabulator. So
look at all that, giving you all the trust of what you can feel like I did this.
Yes.
I know that mine was taken care of. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk more about that because, Robert, we got so many things still to cover that I think that we have to give a refresher course.
Okay.
Because of the things that sometimes we get laxed and there are changes coming up that people can be aware of. Now, again, this show will be played this afternoon at 6 o'clock. So I'm going to make sure everybody knows. I'm going to put it on social media. You need to listen and find out what you need to do. And always know, I'm a believer in a phone call.
Yep.
It takes 5 seconds. 850-595-3900. Hey, look, am I okay? You understand what I'm saying?
We are here to serve.
Exactly.
And I would much rather you make that phone call now
than wait to that day.
Then wait to the, because again, if you pass that deadline registration and something happens, it's too late. And then what we can also get into, if you voted in the last 2 elections or something you shouldn't have to worry about showing up and not being registered.
I got you.
So again, I think the way Florida's doing things, we're doing it right. We look at what happened in 2000. You talk to some of these college kids, they don't know about 2000, right? But Florida evolved and has become a leader in elections.
Yeah.
And I think it's benefited the voters.
No doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk even more. If you've got questions, please be a part of the conversation. It is time now for our Black History, history in 2 minutes or less. I tell you, Dr. Ace is the best. Being brought to you by AHW Barber Academy. Thank you, Ace, for doing what you do. 8 months and you can have your barber's license? Yes, you can. You own your own business. And of course, my good friends there at Joe Morris and Son Funeral Home, they know what you're going through. Allow them to be that person that you need in your time of need right here on Sunshine's Corner.
In recent years, the future of the filibuster in the United States Senate has become a subject of high-stakes debate. But do you know when the filibuster started? or why it started? Well, it turns out the story of its origin doesn't begin with the nation's founders. The founders never even saw it coming.
It was simply taken as a given in the Senate that obstruction wouldn't happen. But in 1841, John C. Calhoun waged what many historians regard as the first filibuster. This was the talking filibuster, which was the ability to hold the Senate floor as long as you can, to delay a bill that the majority is trying to advance. We think of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, talking till he dropped.
The wild horses aren't going to drag me off this floor until those people have heard everything I've got to say, even if it takes the whole winter.
Calhoun's motivation was to protect and empower the slaveholding class of the South.
After the Civil War, the filibuster begins to be used to hinder legislative moves that would protect the civil rights of African Americans.
In 1917, in response to increased use of obstruction, the Senate creates cloture, a procedural vote to cut off debate and move the bill forward. But what happened was that it promoted gridlock. Bills to end lynching and poll taxes were killed by the filibuster. White supremacy rose. Countless lives were destroyed because white supremacist senators used the filibuster, but only for civil rights bills.
The tragedy is that we have a minority of misguided senators who will use the filibuster to keep the majority of people from even voting.
When the Civil Rights Bill comes to the floor, it faces a massive filibuster. Cloture is filed to bring debate to an end, and it passes with 71 votes. Since 1964, the same extreme threshold that we applied to civil rights during the Jim Crow era has been applied to every other issue. In the first half of the 20th century, there were maybe one or two a year. By 2021, filibusters number in the hundreds. Senators don't have to set foot on the Senate floor. All they have to do is simply say, I object to this bill.
It is a blow to democracy when a minority can block the ability of the government to represent all of its people.
And welcome back to this Thursday edition of Sunshine's Corner. We're talking with our Supervisor of Election, Mr. Robert Bender. We are encouraging, informing, and definitely giving you all the information that's going to inspire you to make sure we get that percentage up.
Yes.
For the primaries.
Yes.
Let's get that percentage up. Because these are people that's going to represent you, and where you are.
Right.
And don't you, okay, if you're complaining and don't vote, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear a word. Because you got the opportunity to speak loudly, and that's by casting your vote. But because I say this, and I've said, you've heard me say this before, I don't want you to complain and don't do anything to make a change. Change is, go put those things in and then make it accessible for everybody. But don't complain to me and don't do anything to try to make a change.
Right.
That's how you can be a part of speaking loudly. This is how I'm a part of this election process, by casting your vote.
Your vote is your voice.
Your vote is and you can speak so loudly. We can get that percentage up. Robert will come and say, oh my God, Sunshine, we were up to 85%.
I would love to.
Wouldn't that be good?
Again, to show about how important it is, in 2020, I was on the canvassing board as a county commissioner, which oversees the election, and Jennifer Braher beat PC Wu by 3 votes.
3, I remember that.
3 votes.
3 votes.
And so if you don't think your vote doesn't count, 3 votes.
3 people. I can see his face.
Right.
You know. Because he had been there for a while.
I think it was his last.
Right.
He would have termed out after that.
That's my next question. Hold on right there, Robert.
Sure.
How long can you stay in?
It varies by position. So city council is 12 years. State house rep is 8 years.
12 years?
12 years, so 3 terms.
Get out of here.
So now the mayors, some have said they'll only serve 8. But it's.
I don't think I want to do
but
that.
again, that is. But again, the voters get to decide if they get to serve that length of time, and so.
Unbelievable.
So if I remember, PC was there before the city charter was updated, and those term limits were put in, and so it sort of started that clock. So even though he had served, I think 12 years or longer, it didn't start until that was put in, and so he was running for his 3rd term.
So after 12 years, they just put you out to pasture?
For the most part.
I didn't mean to make it sound like that.
No, but
that's a long time.
But anyway, yes.
I mean, I think.
But you know what? It goes by so quickly. It really does. Having served on the county commission previously, those first few years, you're still trying to get your feet underneath you.
And then by the time it's time to go.
And then so to make a change. And so I think what led to this was we were talking how Councilman Jared Moore has announced that he's not going to run for that 3rd term.
Right.
He's serving 8 years. And so you have 2 people that have already filed to run for his open seat in City Council District 4.
Wow. I mean, and I can't wait to see all these people that we're talking about, because some of them I have not met, some of them I'm not familiar with, and I'm trying to find out information what they are, who they are.
Right.
And I want to encourage those people who are running. I believe in starting early.
Yes, but here's the thing. As a voter, call them and talk to them.
Thank you.
I give you my cell phone number. You call me and talk to me, and because it's like dating, right? If dating's not going well, you don't get married, right? Dating, you're on your best behavior, everything like that,
right?
And so. In fact, I talked to a lady yesterday. She goes, I had posted something online. You found my number. You called me, and you straightened it out. Out the issue that she was having. She called with some questions, and
you got it all worked out.
I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to call you back. I mean, that
he will do that. I can attest to that.
Because I serve you.
That's right.
Right. I serve you.
That's right.
And so you should be able to talk to who you've elected.
Exactly.
And especially if you have a question or an issue, you want to talk to me.
Exactly.
I
agree.
And so, and also, this is where the buck stops.
Right.
Right. And so, but anyway, let's talk about running
a good
election.
Okay, I want to go on and talk about on the sites when you get this, complaints and all this kind of good stuff, and how we handle those things.
That's
the ADA.
Oh, sure, the ADA. So actually, we're doing that. So. We are having to change some precinct locations.
Okay.
Things just haven't worked out. The organization that we were using just said, hey, it's just not working out, or we've decided to do something else, or we're doing some renovations. We need you to move. And so we go and inspect these sites. We do walkthroughs. We talk to them. We make sure that we have our ADA accessibility. Right. We make sure the room's large enough to hold how many people we expect to come, and things like that. But let me make it clear. If that happens, I am required by law to notify you.
Okay.
Right?
I got you.
Because in the special election last year, there was some...
Oh, I remember.
They said I didn't notify anybody. Now, we'd already moved it for the primary 2.5 months earlier.
That's why it's so good to be ahead. Stay ahead.
We sent everybody a notice in the mail, and they came out and said that I moved it on election day. Okay? It would take very unusual circumstances for me to move a precinct on election day. We even had an A-frame sign at the old location saying that it was moved to another, this was not a secret. That's what precinct 98, that's where it was.
Right.
So we are finalizing a new location for them. We will notify all the voters, and even though we're going to do it now, I'm going to send you that reminder closer to election as well, right? Because again, I just want to make sure they're informed. You're going to get it. You're not going to remember you got a piece of mail 6 months ago.
Exactly.
And so, but again, The other thing that our office does before every election is that we will send you a sample ballot if you do not have a vote by mail request on file, because we've already sent you the ballot,
That's right.
And so we'll send you the sample ballot. It'll have information on that. It'll have your sample ballot. It's not like the one that we put in the paper that has everything. It'll have your specific sample ballot. And again, a lot of information on where you can early vote, where you need to go on election day.
That's right.
Things like that.
Exactly.
So we do try to make sure everyone's informed. But
you were talking about volunteers. I don't want to miss that.
Yes, our election workers. I mean,
That's right. I said, yeah.
Yes. And so we are getting ready to sign up. We have some people that have already expressed interest. We'll be having some information sessions in the next month or two about becoming an election worker. We do say it is paid. It's not paid a lot, but it's more of a stipend.
Okay.
And it starts at about $195, which covers the election day, which is a long day. You're usually there at 6 a.m. and you're usually going home at 8 p.m. And it also includes training. Because we are required to train you. So say, hey, I don't know what to do. I've never done this before.
Right.
We are required to train you before every election.
Okay.
So some people got trained 5 times in the last 2 years,
they really
right? And so it's a teaching thing. I mean, right? Everybody's human. Mistakes happen, and so we'll try to teach that so the mistake doesn't happen again. But we'll teach you on, because again, maybe you were checking people in, checking their ID, and you want to go over and help them put their ballot in the tabulator. So we'll train you on using that new equipment, on how to open and close, and don't worry, we don't just do it and send you out. We'll give you a handbook and a way to do it. We'll offer lab sessions so you can come in and practice before and so. But again, I think it's really important. As I said, these are your friends, your neighbors, your church members. We make sure we have people from more than two parties or more at each location, so that not one location's run by. Again, this is about transparency. This is about making sure that, right?
Somebody want to ask you a question.
Okay,
Somebody
right,
just called. Let's
go
see who this is. I thought they were not filled with questions this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Sonshine. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. How about you?
I'm doing very well today. I feel well and happy. I get to work from home, so I don't have to travel today. So I'm in a good mood. Yes, you know what? I have a question I wanted to ask Mr. Robert Bender today.
Go ahead.
And so I want to mention to him that I remember him so well because back in 2003, when I was a social work student at UWF, in March or April, we used to always have to go to the Capitol and, fight for something. And I went to his office in Tallahassee, and I wanted for our children to be able to have meals during the summer. Literally within a week or two, it got passed that they was going to have those meals, and I was so happy to be able to talk to him and fight for our children in our neighborhood, in our community.
Exactly. Well, he's smiling, so
I appreciate it. I don't know if that was me though.
Okay, might have been somebody else, but his smile came on your face.
I appreciate it. And I think that's great. And that's one thing that I did as a commissioner was if someone came to me and said, "Hey, we want to feed the hungry" or something like that, I'd always try to give them some of the dollars that we had.
Exactly.
But I appreciate that. I hate to say that wasn't me. I have not been in
But
Tallahassee, but I'm glad you had a good experience.
Exactly.
I did have a great experience. I always thought it was you.
Well,
but that was
I appreciate it, but
now. That was over 20 years ago now, so.
I got you.
My memory may be, I'm over age, so my memory may not be as strong as
my God. He said
listen, I appreciate it. I'd love to take credit for it, but I can't take credit for it. But I'm glad that was a good experience. But again, that's again one of those important things on electing that person who's going to go over to Tallahassee to serve you, and make sure that it is someone that you can go talk to and that can fight for your community.
Fight for the cause that you have.
Because you can guarantee, you have 120 legislators, House members over there, and you can guarantee they're fighting for their community. So we want to make sure that we have somebody fighting for ours. And again, with something as great as that, so I'm glad you were able to get that done. And that's the thing is that I was over in Tallahassee a couple weeks ago and talking about some of the things that they're doing for elections, and there were a number of people that get up and talk about what they're trying to do. So
exactly,
to make sure your voice is heard, you also have to be present.
Exactly.
Right? You can't leave it at the ballot box. You can't do that.
Done.
You still have to stay engaged and fight for what you want fighting for. So
it's a process, and we all got to learn how to do it. Thank you, Ed. We got to run the break, and we got another call. I want the caller to hold on because we got a 2-minute break we got to take. Don't hang up. We're going to be right back right here on Sunshine's Corner.
You finally found the perfect car in racing blue. You even got them to throw in the LED fog lights for free. Auto Owners insures your car because some people never learn to parallel park. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Messick Insurance Agency in Pensacola if auto owners make sense for you.
Keep going. More. No, stop!
My name's Kelly McLeod. I'm the owner of Bella Magazine. Bella is a source of uplifting and inspiring content for the women of Pensacola.
I think the magazine is just so thoughtfully done. There's a lot of attention to detail. The stories are really good.
You've got seriousness, you've got fun, education, fashion. It just encompasses everything.
Women are multidimensional, and so is Bella.
From the efficiency of American natural gas and the dependability of nuclear power, to the strength of Florida's sunshine and the flexibility of advanced battery storage systems, we leverage a diverse mix of energy sources to power our growing state, ensuring reliable, low-cost power for your home or business whenever you need it. FPL, working for you every single day.
Well, I think it's all about local, and I'm a big believer in local. So I think anytime you can carry a message out locally, it's important. And I think it's anytime the person that delivers the service can also deliver the message, which is unusual. You have the people that actually deliver the project doing the talking, and I think that's a huge difference, and really makes a huge value difference for the consumer. So I'm really just so grateful that we have this local opportunity with Blab TV. My name is Quince Theater, and I am Blab TV.
And welcome back to the hottest spot in town. I'll tell you, people always have questions. I tell Robert, he brings them out.
Sunshine's
every
Corner,
time he brings them out.
Brought to you
we got
by.
somebody holding right here. Good morning.
Good morning, Sunshine. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you?
I'm doing well. Good morning to the both of you. I just want you to know this is Sonaria.
Hi, Sonaria. Hey.
Just called and got, so I'm ready for November.
Uh-oh. Come on now. She ready, see?
She called that. What was the number?
850-595-3900.
Perfect. Perfect.
You already checked, so everything you got is ready.
I got it ready. When I heard y'all talking about it, I got on there and called them right away.
See?
I'm going to dote on my staff here. I've got great staff, right? And
yes,
so
you do. Yes.
I appreciate
it. You sure do, and I appreciate it.
Yes, and the other thing is that you don't call and get put into a lot of long hold, right? You're going to call.
No, I didn't. I sure didn't.
And so, because we have them answering right then, and so again, if they're helping people or something like that, there may be a little bit of a call,
but not no 5 minutes.
It'll keep rolling over,
but
and
not no
right.
long.
No,
yes.
it's going to be seconds that you're on hold while it transfers the person that's available.
Well, you see right there what that did right then, Robert. See, with certain signal you're calling, it's the fact that it proved out what we were saying. So she did it when she heard the number. She dialed the number, and look, called to let us know it's done quickly.
It's done. It's that easy.
Yeah, it's done quickly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Signoria.
And the great thing is that she is election ready.
All right,
you have a great day too.
All right, bye-bye.
She's election ready. If there is an issue, right, she can get it taken care of.
Right now, that's right.
Before the election, before that July 20th deadline.
Exactly.
And because if you wait till the day before the election, I may not be able to help you. I want to help you.
That's right.
I do. But if the law says I can't, I can't.
Exactly.
And so that's why we try to keep everybody informed. That's why we send these mailers out. I've been a big proponent of every time I send out a mailer, I want to let them know why I'm sending it out.
Come on.
I'm not wasting your tax dollars. I am either required to,
I got you.
Usually it's required to.
Exactly.
You know, I'm trying to make you informed, make sure that you're ready.
Exactly.
Because we have had that change in the law where it went from your vote by mail was good for 2 election cycles down to 1. So now we need to inform those people, because again, you may have made that request in October of 2024, and by December 31st, it was wiped clean. So you say, oh, I just made it.
But
3 months
it's
ago.
a new year, right?
It's a new year.
It's a new year.
So you've got to make that request again. And again, Florida election security, we're validating your information on the front end to make sure that it's you with that driver's license or the last 4 of the social, to make sure that we can send you that ballot.
No
and we
doubt.
record, who makes that request and things like that.
No doubt.
So,
Robert, I can't believe we're down to the last. Can you believe we're down to 2
it always
minutes?
goes by
It
so
goes by so
quickly.
fast. But I want to say thank you because you're always with your community engagement to keep the information out there. Ever since I reached out the first time and called you, it's been there. And I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity and because getting in front of the viewers and letting them know the information they need.
Exactly.
Right? We want them to be informed voters. We want them to be election ready. And so
And
I
well.
really appreciate you always giving me the opportunity to come on. We always have a
good time. We
Yeah.
even go back and play with the hat sometimes. But I can't say thank you enough. And everybody, 850-595-3900, you can call and talk to Robert. And you can call. You don't have to be on the line long. We got to get out of here because she's rushing me. She said, come on, you got a few seconds. We got to go, but I'll leave it with you as I do every single day. Never, ever, ever lose your focus, my friends. Always remember, if you keep God first, I guarantee you're going to be a total success. So until tomorrow for the lovebirds, because it's Valentine's month, we got a couple coming in tomorrow to share their love story. So until then, my friends, know that I do love you with a perfect kind of love. Go out and tell somebody you love them and mean it. Keep shining while I'm gone. Have a great day. Thank you so much, Robert.
Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.